Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday. Thanks for being here. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and definitely hit that like button as soon as you can. The sooner you hit that like, the better it is for the algorithm, and it helps spread the channel far and wide. Alrighty, let's move on to the calendar. And we have core PPE today at 8:30, retail sales and employment claims. So a bit going on. Sadly, Fed Chair Powell speaking at 8:40. That really could be disastrous for trading the AM session. Who really knows how it's going to play out? I sure as hell don't. And look, if anyone watched the charts yesterday, we could end up with a similar approach during the New York AM session today with Powell speaking. So let's move on over to the charts. And be sure to grab your Tradeify and Apex evals. Tradeify's sale ends today. So you've got the rest of today to grab your 30% off for existing users or 40% off for new users. But be sure to use code JimmyTrades. And Apex still with their sale through to the 20th with 80% off. Now, first of all, I'd like to say, how did everyone go trading yesterday's session? If you made money yesterday, you're either related to a market maker or market maker yourself, because the New York AM session was pretty average. There was a setup that I would class as an A setup. I don't use A+, it's just A, B, and C for me. But this A setup that would play out, almost 10 times out of 10. And it did not play out. And that's okay. I was 1 from 2 yesterday, so 1 win, 1 loss. Yeah, it was a difficult session yesterday, I thought, during the AM. So if you did make money or you did manage to get a position yesterday, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear about it. What asset did you trade? I was trading NQ and it wasn't the best. So we will have a quick look at those couple of trades. I won't go into too much detail on them today, but we'll have a quick look nonetheless. Let's start off with the daily bias. It's going to be pretty difficult to go against trend here. We have NQ with a strong close yesterday, closing above previous day high. Now we have had multiple days of expansion, and we were talking about a reversal yesterday. So we weren't on the money with the bias yesterday. We had a bearish bias, although there was a real cracking correlation with NQ and ES. NQ is definitely the stronger asset. Let's have a look at ES quickly, because I'll show you why. We also had an SMT at the high, so that played a hand in the PA yesterday. But look at this candle on ES compared to NQ. That's the daily candle for NQ. Let's just bring the charts up side by side instead of jumping around. Look at the difference. There's a real crack and correlation there. And that is really not conditions you want to be trading in, to be fair. Now, even when market opened today, and you can't see this now, but when I was looking at the market, we started pushing up straight away on NQ, but look at ES. ES never went higher at all. It just dropped immediately. Interesting. But how can we use this to our favor today? Well, let's have a look. Would I be bearish today? It's hard to go against the current trend. All right. Previous day low has been swept on both assets. What is our point of interest here? We're inside a bullish daily FVG, both here and ES. Currently respecting that bullish FVG. NQ clearly the stronger asset here. That leaves previous day high open. on both assets, and we have no wick to the high side for ES, a high level draw liquidity. I am going to run with a bullish bias for both NQ and ES. I think what I'll do from now on too is chart them together like this, which probably makes a bit more sense. So here's how they're correlated. So that's what I'm thinking for today. Yes, we could continue to move lower here. It's a very bearish candle at the moment. We will see what happens. We are at this point of interest, and I'm thinking that with NQ being the stronger pair, we'll hopefully pull ES with it. It might not get it all the way. Like yesterday, we might end up with a similar scenario. I mean, look at those two candles. You know, they couldn't be more different. Alrighty. Let's move over. Let's have a quick look at the hourly, see where we're at. Okay, so if we were to look at ES first of all, let's see that we've got equal highs up here. All right. This is our dealing range. Look at the low resistance liquidity. I don't want that one. I want this one that we've put in here with equal highs. Equal highs for all these stacked failure swings here, even all the way through here. Okay. Failure swing after failure swing. Draw on liquidity to the max. Even on NQ, we have equal highs here, relative equal highs. Okay, we can look at it like that. NQ, stronger asset, clearly you can see that here. It's holding up quite nicely. Yes, we've got displacement here. Yes, we do have a potential change in state of delivery. Okay, but that's not to say we won't move higher. All right, we are starting to form an hourly bullish swing candle, our swing point candle, our insight to order flow. And the reason I'm drawing out the dealing range for ES was looking at this bearish, this bullish. You know, one of these videos, I'll actually get the right FEG when I say it first time. So this bullish FEG is in a discount. Even if price was to come lower, I wouldn't mind seeing ES come into this bullish FEG to start to look to move higher from there. Let's run with a bullish bias, okay, across NQ and ES. All right, lock that in. Let's see how that plays out. The other option, if that fails, is that we move up into this bearish FEG and then we just continue to expand lower. All right, so that's the other option. We don't manage to invert this, we come up and we move lower. My ideal setup now is that we invert this hourly bearish FEG, respect that, and continue to move higher. Let's jump over to CL now. And we'll have a look at the daily first. We had a neutral bias going into open, but we got our confirmation at open. We wanted to see that's the equilibrium of the previous day's candle. And I wanted to see if price was to remain supported there or not. Price failed at that point, and we can see that. Price failed there and just melted away. We took out these equal lows. So that was the draw on liquidity. That was where I was looking for price to go. And we had to break this support level here, this equilibrium. And we did, in fact, do that. So this is where I pivot my bias. I don't stay locked into a bias. I read the chart. What is the chart showing me? I use if then statements. If price holds this level, I remain bullish. If price displaces through this level, I'll pivot to bearish. Having a neutral bias gives me the flexibility to look at either direction. Even then, I would still just pay attention to what chart's telling me and not lock myself into a bias. Okay, back to the daily. Let's see, where are we heading here? So we're in a bullish FVG right now. But this candle is very heavy. Very heavy. And look at this as an expansion candle. There's not much wick to the high side. There is a bit of a wick to the high side there. If we continue to expand lower, what are we at? We're already at 110% of the average daily range. That's on a 21-day look back, using that smaller sample size, because the volatility has been in the market since these tariffs or these tariff talks have come in. They're using that small look back, and we're inside a bullish FEG. There's a good chance at the moment that we'll see price potentially consolidate at this level or reverse. All right. If I was to run the standard deviations from this high to the low, because we don't have a swing high, I'm just using this failure swing. You can see that we're just about at the -4 standard deviation there. So let's see. I mean, you can see here we've had, this would have been printing as a swing point candle prior to this candle forming. We would have been considering price looking to reverse there. What have we got in the way of liquidity? We've got low resistance liquidity all the way through here. This low stands out, okay? That low stands out for me. It's a 4-hour low as well. It's a 4-hour open, I should say, 10 o'clock. This being a bullish FEG, I wouldn't mind actually seeing price continue through, wick through that low, then reverse. That can be still a daily wick and finding support in that bullish FEG. I will sit bearish for now and see if we take out that low. Let's jump to 6E. And we did have a bullish, we actually did have a bullish move yesterday, did we? No, it was very, look at that. Look at the wick on that candle. All right. So it was looking like it might be a bullish day, but we certainly sold off a little bit. So we have a swing point candle on the daily here. So our insight to order flow. Looking at the wick here, because the wick is so large, we have respected the equilibrium of that wick. I'm looking for the low hanging fruit here. Previous day low. Bearish for 6E. Let's have a look at the hourly. We can see that we had an inversion through here. We closed through, we've respected that level at the moment. Look at the low resistance liquidity, the low price here, respecting that equilibrium. And again, respecting the equilibrium of this candle, this one here, and pushing lower off of that. Looks good for shorts. Dixie, on the other hand, if we look at it on the daily, let's clear that up. We had a strong buyer's wick come in. We ended up with a swing point candle a bullish one, and we are respecting the 50% level of that wick there. Inversely correlated to 6E, we can see that quite clearly there. So similar story, looking for price to run out the high here. We've respected the 50% level of this range of the hourly candle here. We do have equal lows here. We might see a sweep of that first. All right, we're looking to this level here as our draw. So bullish for Dixie. Let's jump over to gold. Great bias yesterday. Look at that move. We finally got through those lows into this daily FVG. And what are we starting to form here on the daily? We are starting to see a potential swing point candle out of a bullish point of interest. I do like that. And this was below in a discount as well of that daily range. Let's drop to the hourly. Hourly inversion, nice closure through. If price continues to move aggressively here, I'd like to see a close above this level, or we put in a retracement of this close into this hourly FVG and then move higher, and then we look for a close above that level. And then see if price has the ability to move higher here. And look, it's not odd that we have had this sell-off. We had so much low resistance liquidity through here. There's no support until this level here. We can see that if we just zoom in there a little bit. Got this order block here. And price has respected that level. We would have respected the equilibrium of that order block. Swing point candle closure, insight to order flow with an inversion. So I like the idea for price to run higher on gold. Jumping over to GBP. Let's clean this chart. Too much noise on there. Swing point candle closure. This has been consolidation, so we've swept out the highs of that consolidation. We've got a swing point candle closure, price respecting. Now the wick isn't as high on this, so I'll use the whole body. It's not, and we've respected the 50% level. Previous day low is the draw for me. So bearish there for GBP. Hopping over to Bitcoin now. And we're back into this bullish FEG. I'll be looking for a sweep of this low. If we can get a sweep of that low into this bullish FEG, that would be a nice opportunity to look for price to run higher. Let's run with a bearish bias today. Really want to see a close above this level. Let's have a quick look at Ethereum. So Ethereum got a nice close above this negative 2.5. So we can anticipate price to run to the -4. It's come very close to that. We've still got heaps of low resistance liquidity here, guys. The price to want to run to. Been a great little bit for Ethereum here. We've swept our previous day low. Look, we may come down to this low here and give it a retest, another retest to the -2.5. Something like this before we continue to move higher. bearish for Ethereum. All right, guys, let's finish the video there today. Thank you for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. As always, please help share the channel far and wide. If you get value out of the video, please let me know in the comments. If you want me to continue with this content, I'd love to hear. And if there's any other content you'd like me to start looking to produce, please let me know. We'll see you over in Trade Foundry, guys. Link in the description. Bye for now.